Welcome everybody, this is Hotrada1066 here. The people who do know me will know me as the tournament guy, but this is going to be my first ever Age of Empires 2 event that I'll be hosting. So this is a short overview of this. Let's dive right in. It's my first small-time Age of Empires 2 tourney, and this is the basic information. Basically, we're going to be having a single elimination knockout bracket, where the format will be a special best-of-3 format. I'll explain that in a second. And the format is going to be the same for all the rounds of the tournament. The prize pool is going to be between 100 and 300 euros, depending on how many people actually end up signing up. And the sign-ups will happen in teams of 2. Each team will need a near pro-level player and a mid-elo player. More specifically, those terms are specified in the event handbook, where all the specifics and all the information you could need is available. So do check out the handbook. I'll link that in the description and in the pinned comment as well. You'll find it everywhere. That's where you get all the detailed information for this event. Now, more of an explainer for our best of 3 format that will be used. As I said, teams sign up as teams of 2, but of course we have a very good player and a decent player. From here on known as the Newbie player and the Beast player on each team. The first game of each best of 3 will be a 1v1 between the newbies of both teams, and then we'll have a 1v1 between the beasts in both teams. If both teams get one win each out of these 1v1s, we'll then have a decider game 3, which is going to be a 2v2 on Nomad between both teams. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it? So that's the format. Now, basically that's all you need to know. Of course, I encourage everybody to actually read the handbook for the details. You'll find all of them, again, in the handbook that will be linked everywhere right here, but also on the Discord server, where all the organization, all the information is going to pass through. So make sure you join the Discord server. You cannot sign up without joining the Discord server. And in fact, let me give you guys a quick glimpse into the Discord server right here, just so everybody understands how this will work. You arrive in the Discord server right here. There's going to be the handbook section where the manual, or the handbook as I call it, is linked. You find all the actual information right there. There's going to be a channel for organizer updates where I put the new information such as the brackets, and an FAQ section where you will find, for example, the lobby settings for all the games. Here is where you will sign up. There's a blueprint that I've entered right here. The easiest option would be to just follow these blueprints that I've put into all of these channels right here, where you will see how to actually sign up. There's going to be a help channel as well, where you can ask any questions, a regular chat channel, and more blueprints for how to actually do the organizational stuff in terms of reporting the games, or giving me all the relevant information. But that's basically it for the Discord. You need to join that server if you want to play in the event. But that sounds fair enough, doesn't it? So now I want to show you guys the actual draft format that we'll be using in the tournament. Remember, I talked about there being 1v1s and 2v2s, but I want to do a quick example for how the drafts are actually going to work. And for this, I've got this little overview here prepared. So in this hypothetical, we're drafting the maps for the 1v1 section of the event. All of this is also explained in detail in the handbook, so don't worry. So I'm doing an example draft here for the maps in the 1v1 part of this series. For example, the host player could choose a random map, that being enclosed in this time. The guest player doesn't get to see this. He might choose lowlands. Now all the maps are revealed, and we see in fact that one player has chosen enclosed, the other has chosen lowlands. Arabia is the leftover map, and that will be the map that is played in this 1v1 between these two players. So if two players pick different maps, the third leftover map is going to be the one that actually is being played. Now, of course, both players could also be selecting the same map. So just going through that real quick. For example, host picks enclosed. Guest captain doesn't get to see it, but just per chance also ends up picking enclosed. Now both players have chosen the same map. This is going to be the map that will be played in the 1v1 between these two players. For the safe drafts, we've got a little bit of an elaborate system set up, but it is pretty simple enough to follow along. It's also, again, explained in the handbook, so if you've got any more questions, you can either reach out to me in the Discord or just defer to the handbook. Should be simple enough there. I can, again, just do an example here for this draft. Both players get one ban that can end up being the same ban for both players, and it did in this example because the bans are hidden. Now the bans are revealed though, and both players take turns picking civilizations for themselves. I'm just picking arbitrary civilizations here. Note that we pick 2 civs at a time after the first pick, and the civ picks are globally visible, so there's no mirror matchups in that regard. Finally, the last pick comes in, and then we get to the sniping section, where both players get to snipe 2 civs from their opponents. Again, I'm just doing this here as an example, not putting much thought into it. But now the draft is done. We can see everybody has 4 civs selected, but 2 of those got sniped. So every player is left with 2 civs. They can choose either one of the 2 civs that they have left over for their 1v1 game against this opponent. The civ picks in the lobby are going to be hidden, so you can't be 100% sure which of the 2 civs your opponent is going to be using. Simple enough, I hope. If this was too fast for you, you can go back in this video or just, again, read the handbook. Finally, we also have a civ draft for the 2v2. Note that there is not a map draft for the 2v2 because only the decider games are 2v2s, and those, as I already mentioned, are going to be played on Nomad. This time around, both teams' captains get 2 bans. Again, these bans are hidden though, so in this example we got one of the 2 bans overlapping, the other 2 bans not doing that, and then we again enter into a very similar 2 picks at a time type of draft, only the first and the last pick being single picks. And maybe as a fun little gimmick, you can see the Romans are enabled for this tournament, so they can indeed also be picked. Both teams end up picking 5 civs for the 2v2 section, and then we get to the sniping part again, but this time around only 1 snipe per team. And we see finally the things. The picks are revealed. Both teams are left with 4 civilizations. They can choose 2 of these when going into the game. Again, the civ picks in the lobby are going to be hidden, so you cannot be sure which civs you're going to be up against in the actual game. Both teams having the 4 leftover civs that they picked to choose from and go into the game. So I hope this answers all of your questions that you might have. If not, feel free to reach out to me in the Discord server. I'll be there answering questions, and I hope I hope we get a good field of players signing up. So please, if you're interested, make sure to check the links in the description or the pinned comment with the handbook and the Discord server. Let's have a fun event and get exciting games going, shall we?